when it was time for the paddy wagon to come through and raid the joint I was in another place. You know, when people came through with death and destruction on them, ready to pass it around, I just left. That wasn't me. I didn't have a crystal ball and I could say, oh yeah, well, somebody coming to rob this place, we better leave. I didn't have that. But somehow that happened for me. Now, I didn't know this because when you suffer from self-hatred, you don't know a lot of things. Your self-hatred makes you ignorant. It keeps you from being able to think and live outside the box. Now, a lot of us, you know, aren't able to say stuff like that, and some of us don't even want to hear nobody talking like that. She make me say, oh, why is she always saying that? You know, because we don't understand that we all belong. We all fit. My strength is for somebody else's weakness. Somebody's weakness is for my strength. And so the reason that we're all tailor-made, I mean, think about it. If the dentist molds my teeth, I don't care if he travels this whole planet, he's never going to get a mold just like mine.
That's right. That's right.
If I put my fingerprint down and some ink is on it, I don't care if we spent billions and billions and billions of dollars. We're never going to find another handprint just like mine.
That's right.
Well, one day that got obvious to me. One day it hit me that if I'm that special, then I've been wrong all along. I did not know that God loved me in a way that he was only going to make one of me no matter how long this planet lived is in existence. I've never been here before. I'm here right now. And when I leave, I'm never coming back. Now, he didn't just love me like that. Every single one of us is that precious.
That's right.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but my community was in a... Well, I do know about you guys. Let me stop saying that. I always wonder why people say that. We know. My community was under the kind of pain and agony and hurt and turmoil that nobody sat me down every day and said, you're special, you're special, you're special. You're precious, you're precious, you're precious. They were not able to. Everybody was trying to get one more day. Was trying to make it one more hour. So I didn't grow up knowing how special and how much God loved me in that way. I was told God loved me. I learned early on to act like I believe it. I learned early on how to tell myself a lot of lies, but I really didn't know. And so the reason that it was imperative that I find out was because God did have a plan for me. He specifically had a plan for me that was tailor-made for me that nobody else coming to this planet is going to be able to carry forth. I didn't know that. I didn't. And so I didn't carry myself like that. You know, I did not have the respect for myself that I have today that allows me to know that and operate in that. And because of the prayers of my family members, my mother, my grandmother, my ancestors and forefathers before me, there was a hedge around me. You know, they used to sing this song, Jesus be a fence all around me. Well, people sang that song for me. They prayed that prayer for me, obviously, or I wouldn't be standing here.
All right.
Now, you know, there's a good chance that I was kind of wounded and damaged in a way that had I known some of the stuff that I'm doing today, I would have probably messed that up too. I wasn't groomed yet for the things that are going on in my life. I told you guys I had my first child at 15. I had to drop out of school. I had to go back to school. I had to go back to school. People said, you smart, but I don't know how smart you think people are going to believe you are if you don't have no education. Smart people get educated. They're smart enough to know they need education. People had to talk to me like that before I would go back to school. And well, I got kids and I got it's really hard and you don't understand. And one day somebody said, you need to stop whining and do what you need to do. And, how many people you think got time enough to hear all that whining?
Oh, no.
If you got time to whine to me about not going to school, you got time to go to school. The same energy you taking to tell me that is the same thing you can use to get through school.
Good teaching. That's good teaching.
And one day I went back to school. And my first day at school, I got on my knees and I said, God, I'm so scared. I'm scared. I feel like getting up and running out of here. But please, I need to be educated. I want to be educated. I need you to help me, please.
Yeah.
That one prayer and that one set of that behavior, going in the bathroom, wiping the floor, getting on my knees and saying that prayer, was something I did for 8 years following, because I was in school for 8 years. And it took a whole lot of praying and crying and moaning. I didn't even know what moaning and groaning was till I went back to school. But it took all of that, and it took all of that because God did have a plan for me. And part of the plan required education. Now, I'm not saying that if you're not educated, God's not going to use you, because that would be a bald-faced lie. God uses every single one of us. And some of us, the requirement for education is there because He's going to take us into places that we are not able to get into without education. So I went to school for 8 years, and all through school, whenever I had professors writing down when I talked. Now, I'm still kind of slow, so I didn't realize that meant something. That meant that I might have been saying something that I needed to be writing down. But I was watching, and I was like, God, every time I say something, she's right. One of my classmates one time said, you need to stop giving them all that information. I was like, what are you talking about? I said, oh, she just hating. She said, you're sending them all around the world with stuff that you're saying, and they don't even care enough to take you with them. And I was like, ain't nobody doing that. Well, guess what happened? One of my professors did. So I ain't gonna talk about that today, because today I'm not in the victimization. I've gone through all that. I did my time in that prison, and I ain't there no more. It's somebody else's turn now. Whoever's there, I'm praying for them, and I want them to know that there's life after victimization. There is life after, domestic violence, substance abuse, alcoholism. There's life after emotional abuse, physical abuse. There's life after all of those things. Those events, well, they weren't, it's not like we were so bad, those things had to happen to us, but those events did not come to finish us off.
That's right.
Those events came so that we might get a clear understanding of just how much we need God, and just how critical the healing process is. Just how important it is to agree to be healed. Like I made an agreement that I would heal, and that I would not keep a lot of the dysfunctional behavior that I had absorbed and I had learned through my life to keep going. So there was a plan for me, and at that point it required education. Well, one day I left school, finally graduated, went back to work, and when I went back to work, I found that it was necessary that I be spiritually fit. I couldn't just be at work, because I'm a social worker. I work with people who go through a lot of devastating, painful, hurtful things. Well, I can't be a wounded healer. I mean, I can be, but I can't take my wounds to work. I have to, I have to be invested in the healing process if I'm going to be successful at work.
Amen.
And I'm a little self-centered these days, a little greedy, I didn't go to school, I didn't say all those prayers, I didn't do all that work to not be more. I want to be more. I'm that greedy, I'm that self-centered, I'm that, whatever you want to call it, I want to be more. So for me to be more, I have to do more. I have to do more inside of me When I hear that broken piece of me wanting to step up and run things, I have to say, hold it, chick, hold it. You're the reason we didn't have all the problems we had. I know you mean well, but you don't know no better. You have to go to bed.